Hi, everybody. Happy afternoon, wherever you are. We are incredibly honored and thankful and excited to have all of you here to join the session with Matt Miller. My name is Kate. I work for a company called Trafera, and I am just here to do some brief housekeeping things before we get started. The first item is if you have questions throughout the session, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'll be keeping an eye on that. Matt will be keeping an eye on that. Josh will also be keeping an eye on that. And we'll be able to get to those throughout the session and then at the end during Q&A. The second piece is this is being recorded and we will send this to everyone's email address that they're registered with. So if you want to watch this again, share it with some of your peers, you'll be able to do that. And last but not least is stick around to the end and take the exit survey. That's how you get qualified for the coffee gift card that we're giving away. And you wouldn't want to miss out on that. Of course not. So that is everything from me. You definitely don't come here to listen to me talk. So I'm going to pass it along to my friend Josh, who's going to kind of set the stage for today.
Awesome. Thank you very much. You didn't come to hear me talk either, but we're gonna get straight down to business. Thanks, Kate. You always bring such a warm vibe to the beginning of these calls. So I appreciate that. And you guys already know what to do in the chat. I see you. You're busy in there. That's what I was gonna suggest is throw a hello in there. Let us know where you're joining from. Oh, we're gonna have so much fun today. In case you're probably like, you're here for Matt. I'm here for Matt too, let's be honest. But in case you're wondering, like, who is that guy and what is Trafera? We're an educational technology company. So if you look around your school and you see technology sitting around, we probably sell some version of that. And more importantly than selling it, we also help empower educators to make sense of that technology so that we can provide the students that we serve with the learning experiences that they deserve. Did that rhyme? Did we just trademark that? Somebody,
That
I'll
was
get that
really
off the
good. I'm
recording.
putting a
There we
note
go.
there. That is getting trademarked.
Yeah, mark that on the recording. We'll come back to it. So anyway, my dear friend Matt, I will say this about Matt. We have experiences together. We've been around, we've been in lots of weird places together, Matt. We've had a lot of fun. But more importantly than the experiences we've had in the past, I will say if you've ever met Matt and you've had some quality time with him, you know you have a future with Matt Miller. He is going to be a lifelong friend for all the people that he's come into contact with. And if you're inspired by his books and seeing him on stage to give a keynote, I can tell you he's the exact same guy when you're picking them up at the airport at 6 a.m. for an early flight, or you're throwing axes together, you're going to get the same energy, no matter what time of day or what the situation is. You all know him and love him. I know him and love him too. We're going to kind of do this a little bit together. I intentionally, Matt, did not peek at your slide deck because I wanted to experience this genuinely with
Okay.
all of our friends on the call. So um, I'm just as excited as everybody else because I've always leaned into video, teaching with video, but my problem with teaching with video is it's a very passive learning experience in the traditional form, right? I mean, I've always found these YouTube videos that I'm inspired by, and I'm like, I want to provide this to my students because this person presents an idea or a concept more eloquently than I do or more engaging than I do. But the problem is, I don't love the idea of just parking my students in front of video production and say, here it is. So I want to find ways to take this very effective yet passive way of learning and make it more engaging and relevant for the generation of the students that we serve today. So I'm hoping that we're going to cover some of that. And then I'll let you take it from here and I'll kind of chime in with you and then we'll meet back in the middle.
Yeah, that sounds great. All right. Well, first of all, thrilled to see everybody in here. It looks like we're pushing 200 people on this webinar already, which is fantastic. So super excited to get to spend some time with you all. I did dress the part. I'm wearing my techie as heck Trafera shirt, which Josh has one too. Now, and with Josh and Kate, I was just telling them right before this all started, I said, now here's the one flex that I have on you guys. I said, how many of you have a techie as heck shirt that has your own name on it? I was like, I think I might be the only one. So I'm just going to like enjoy that while I can. So anyway, whole bunch of you here today, which is cool. Excuse me, for this session called Viral Learning. video-based Google activities for the TikTok generation, because let's be honest, we know that there's plenty of those kids from that TikTok generation, our Gen Zs, our Gen Alphas, all in our classrooms, and we're all just trying to reach them and everything. So looks like we've got lots of you that have checked in. So I just want to run down in the chat real quick and say hi to some folks. So for instance, Tristan's here from Iowa. Looks like it's Lisha is here from Indiana, fellow Hoosier, which is great. Lauren's here from Michigan. There's my friend Sarah Eiler from North Carolina. Hey, Sarah. I know that Denise Douglas is in here because I saw her smiling face before she turned the camera off. And I also see Patrick Vernon's smiling face. Well, it's going to smile here in a second. There it is. Yep. All right, good. You know it's him when it's the bow tie. If he's got the bow tie on, then you know it's him. So, which is cool. Hannah's here from Arizona. Sherry's here from Kansas. Miranda's here from East Texas. I saw somebody earlier that was, there it is. Valerie is here from El Paso. Josh, you and I have been to El Paso together, right?
I think we know Valerie.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun, which is great.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's Abel from El Paso also. So, I mean, I could go on and on and on through all this. Deanna Jordan is from Mineral Wells, Texas, where my friend John Bimmerly was from, something like that. So, Jesus is here from Guadalajara, Mexico. So we've officially stretched beyond the United States. And Rochelle from Honolulu, Hawaii. So we're beyond the contiguous United States also. And Brenda's here from Elkhart, Indiana, another fellow Hoosier. I could go, like I said, I could go on and on and on through all of these. So anyway, thrilled to get to see all of you here. Oh, and then there's the one at the very end from Kim, who's also from Indiana, from Goshen, which is super cool. Anyhow, let's dive right into this, shall we? Let's get into this presentation, viral learning, video-based Google activities for the TikTok generation. So first order of business, I wanted to give you a link for my slides. If you'd like to access my slides later, you can go to ditch.link/viral learning. If somebody wants to drop that into the chat so that everybody can access it. I will say, for some reason, my ditch links, I've been having a little bit of trouble with them today. So if you type it in and it just spins and spins and spins, then it was doing that for me too. But if it doesn't, then that's great. But anyway, if you want a copy of, or if you want to be able to see my slides, that's where you can get it. If you want to pass that link along to somebody else, feel free to. It's not like a, not like a special, like secret link that, is only for certain people or anything. You can feel free to spread that around if you'd like to. So ditch.link/viral learning. So, excuse me, let's dive right into this and take a look at sort of the reason that this all exists. Because, for me, I'm kind of like on the borderline between being a Gen X and a millennial. I'm like right on that borderline. But obviously the stuff that applies to me doesn't apply to the generation of the students that we have in our class, because a lot of those students are Gen Z kids, right? Gen Z, which some people call the TikTok generation. And so that fits very nicely with what we're talking about here. Based on your definition of what Gen Z, it's anywhere from about 12 years old up to 27 years old as of 2024. So it's like in that general range. So we're looking at our middle schoolers and our high schoolers. And so let's look at a little bit that we can learn about these Gen Z kids. First of all, let me just ask you all, what are some of the things that you have found? And just tell me in the chat if you want to. What are some of the things that you've found that are unique when it comes to Gen Z? And it's easier for, it's probably easier for some folks to think of, like, I don't know, sometimes people want to think of negative things when they're talking about younger generations, but there's some great stuff too, I think. So I'm going to take a quick peek at this slide link, because I know some of you are saying that it's directing back to the homepage. By the way, if my slide link doesn't work, I'll just fix it just as soon as we're all done here. While you're typing, let me tell you a couple of other quick things. I thought this was fascinating. The YouTube Culture and Trends report for 2024 said that 65% of Gen Z considers themselves video content creators. That's 2/3. That's 2 in 3 Gen Z that considers themselves video content creators. Because of course, what does it take to be a video content creator? You post stuff on TikTok, right? And then 1 in 4 TikTok users are under 20 years old. So that puts them right in that sort of Gen Z area. Some other things that you all said about our Gen Z, like they loved it. They love to email as if it is a chat. So it's like emailing, and it sounds like you're text messaging. Short attention span sometimes, very techie, like all day, every day, says Tabitha. Their own language, like I can't keep up with it. There are some people that I follow on TikTok that like unpack all of the kids' language, and it's fascinating to me to see where all of this stuff comes. Like when I find out that kids say that I have Skibbity Ohio Riz, that's not a compliment, just in case you're wondering. Sandy says they're very techie, they're creative, they don't know a world without tech. Fiercely independent, says Sarah, and that's true, but also reliant on others' feedback, sponges to technology. This is great stuff, and all very, very, very true. My own kids are all within the Gen Z range. I've got a freshman in high school, a junior in high school, and a freshman in college. So I'm like right there with it. And then Martha says they're okay with cracked screens. Sometimes they don't have a choice though, right? So anyway, let's keep moving through this. So another reason that we're here and we're doing this presentation is that video is king, and not just for Gen Z. And if you look at some of these recent video statistics that make you wonder whether video should be a part of your instructional plan, 3.48 billion internet users consumed video content in 2022. And so if that's in 2022, you know that it's probably on its way up, right? Online videos, audience reach of 92% worldwide. And then of all YouTube video viewers, 239 million of them come from the United States. So it's not just Gen Z, it's not just the younger generation, which would be Gen Alpha. And actually, I've got something on here right there about them. This is for all of us, really. And so, you know, they are, as some of you mentioned, these guys are the true digital natives. Like it says here, Gen Z has never known a world without the internet and video. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram are part of their daily life, for good or for bad. And I know if you talk to Josh, he has strong feelings about all of that and the control that our devices and our social media have over our lives sometimes. But we also know that if we're trying to reach them, we're trying to be relevant, we're trying to speak their language, that this is a way that we can do it. And then you go down to the alphas, you know, the Gen Alpha, which is up through 12-ish years old. They're poised to be even more dependent on digital technology because, you know, there are new developments that they can say that they've never lived without, that the Gen Z can't even say. So I'm going to have to check out this RizBot chatbot that Sarah just linked to. Like, for instance, Sarah just says, I didn't know this existed, and I feel like my life is now complete. And then it says you can have it make a quiz in Gen Z language. I'm definitely going to have to check that out later. So yeah, go grab that in the chat while it still exists, while it's still around. In fact, I'm going to click on that link right now. Oh no, it just went right over my slides. That's what I get for trying to hang on to that. Okay, anyhow, let's keep moving, shall we? And so why are we talking about doing video? Video is a way for us to potentially speak their language. Like it says here, using video as part of instruction can help connect our Gen Zs and our Gen Alphas with us in ways that feel relevant and natural to them, because that's really what we're trying to do, right? So we're not trying to necessarily impose a way of learning on them that doesn't feel relevant and natural. We want to try to find ways to connect with them where they are. And so I think video is going to let us do that. And then here's sort of a common misconception, I think, about our Gen Zs, especially because, you know, we talked about the short attention span. It was mentioned in the chat, and, you know, there's data on that also. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about them. If they can learn a TikTok dance, and you've seen what some of these TikTok dances look like some of them are pretty complicated, and then they remember them, and then they can still do them. If they can do that, they are very capable of looking at something complex and making sense of it and being able to replicate it and use it and think about it and do something with it, right? That's not, I mean, that's higher order understanding. And so if it's in the right realm, if it fits, there's a lot that they're able to do. Talk about video games also. I mean, if you watch gamers and you look at, all of the, complex things that they're doing with the controller and understanding where they are in the map, and then the strategies and being able to communicate those strategies with their teammates and everything, like there's so many of those skills that will cross over to success later on in life. And so really all we're trying to do here is trying to kind of like match it with their culture, right? Like what Martha says, we have to teach to or in their culture whenever possible, if we can, right? And so that's really kind of why we're here today. So this is our big question. How can we use video as part of classroom instruction? And I've got some ideas, and I bet you do too. So as I go through on all of this, if you see something that I mention and you have some experience with it and want to share that experience, please put it in the chat. If you have something to add to what I say in some of the ways we can use video, please add that in the chat and it'll make you kind of like my co-presenter, right? If you've got questions, definitely throw those in also. So anyway, how can we use video as part of classroom instruction? We're going to start super basic, super simple, super little, and then we're going to grow from there. Okay. Here's the first one. If you're going to use video as part of your instruction, because for a lot of us, we still share videos up on the projector screen, or we put videos on our smart board or something like that. But look at the one on the left here. This is the one with all the distractions. I mean, you probably know as well as I do that if the recommended video along the right side, if there's one of them that's a little bit inappropriate, or that you don't have control over, or that has a thumbnail image that makes the kids go, oh my goodness, attention is gone, right? It's a distraction. There's a little trick that you can use in your YouTube links that will create a YouTube video with no distractions. And so here's what it is. Take a look at this screenshot that I made right here. So if you load up a YouTube video and you insert a hyphen between the letter T and U, it's going to load up a version of that video that has no distractions. So all you've got to do is just make a copy of that link. And then whenever you want to show it on the screen with all of the students, you just put that one in there with the hyphen in it. And it's going to load up that video and it's going to look like this down here. This is actually a screenshot from this same crash course video that I screenshotted earlier. So this is it on a regular YouTube. This is it whenever you load it up with the hyphen. And it seems like it's too good to be true. Like Mario's like, oh, wow. Josh is like, holy cow, is this true? Like, seriously, it's a thing. In fact, all you've got to do, if you want to pop open a tab while I'm talking and go over to YouTube, open up a random YouTube video and stick the hyphen between the T and the U, it's going to load that up. So just wanted to equip you with that one little thing. Sometimes I know whenever you show up to something like this, if you can take a teeny tiny little hack and stick it in your pocket and use it, sometimes that's the stuff that we really love. So anyway, it's between the T and the U is where that hyphen goes. All right, so that's number one. Ben says, how do you discover things like this? You want my answer? TikTok. Seriously, it was a TikTok video that I saw. For real. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's go on to number two, which is where to find some of these instructional videos. If we want to find good videos, now you can always just go out on YouTube and you can just go do a keyword search for whatever it is that you want to teach. But here's the thing. Sometimes you load those videos up and you're like, who's really going to watch this? I know sometimes I've loaded up instructional videos before and I'll go, excuse me, I'll say, my students are going to make fun of me if I try to show them this, or they're going to roll their eyes, or they're going to fall asleep, or they're going to get out their phones, or, something like that. So here's what I did. Me and my team at Ditch That Textbook, or my team, I say my team, it's like three of us. There's three of us. But I sent out in my email newsletter, excuse me, I sent out in my email newsletter and I just asked people, what are the instructional videos that you actually show in your class? Like, what are the good ones? What are the ones that you would actually show real human children? Which is a fair question, right? Because there's some of them that we would not show real human children. And they just started sending me links. And so what we did was we built a website to help us categorize and organize and find those videos quickly. And it's called TeachFlix. So if you want to try it out, if you want to take a look at it, you go to teachflix.org. And if you look at that, maybe it looks like something that you might have to have like a monthly subscription for or something. Nope. It's something that we made for free. So if you go to teachflix.org, you'll see right here on the screen, this is what the landing page looks like. So you can sort by grade level, elementary school, middle school, high school. You can search by content area. So this is a whole bunch of different subject areas, and you can even do a keyword search. And then once you click on one of these, you have the ability to click on the actual video pages. Now, all this website is it's just a whole bunch of YouTube videos embedded on a web page. That's really all that it is. But the goal of the web page is to make it easy to find and easy to share. And then what you'll also find is on each one of these video pages, there's a little red button that says click here for worksheets and activities for this video. And if you click on it, it's going to send you this. It's this activity pack called Teaching with TeachFlix. And it's packed with a whole bunch of Google Slides activities that you can assign to your students related to the videos on the site. So not only are we giving you videos that teachers have suggested, but we're also giving you some activities that you can do with them too. So if you haven't checked out TeachFlix, that's a place where you can go find some really good instructional videos. In fact, let me just ask you all in the chat real quick. Are there any particular YouTube creators that are really good for instructional videos? Or is there like one video in particular that you really like? Or is there a place that you like to go where you can actually find the really good instructional videos? Even if you have just like a particular YouTube link, like go ahead and drop that in the chat. I'm curious to see who some of your favorite ones are. And then it didn't take very long. Brandy already dropped in a link to Crash Course. All of my examples on my slides are right out of Crash Course. I'm so happy that John and Hank Green created that site and or that channel and have created all of those videos because they're fantastic. So anyway, yeah, go ahead and drop those in there. And then if you take a look in the chat, you might find a channel for your whatever it is that you teach that is something that you didn't know about. So we'll just all kind of share those in the chat as we go. Okay, let's go on to number 3. Talk about finding more good instructional videos. I'll do you one further. This site is going to get you not only videos that you can use with your lessons, but also pre-written lesson plans that go with them. And this is all free also. And so it's this site called the Achievery. I'm going to put the link in here. ditch.link/Achievery is my little referral link to take you over there. So the Achievery is totally free, just like TeachFlix is totally free. And if you get to the Achievery, you're able to sort by all of these different content level or all these different content areas like English language arts, social emotional learning, technology engineering, digital arts, math, science, digital literacy. Lots of good stuff. And then also all of these little icons that you see here on my screen, those are all creators. Those are all like partners that they've partnered with to be able to create all this stuff. And it's a lot of really good names in the field of education. I'm very sad because at one point they had a connection. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they had a connection with Warner Brothers. So they had some Warner Brothers movie lessons. There was one in particular that used the Lego Batman movie. And the cool thing about this is with all of the videos that are on the Achievery, you have full license to use those videos in your classroom. So if you've ever wondered, like, am I supposed to be able to show this? Am I really allowed to share this video with my students? Can I show, if you've ever wondered all of that, at the Achievery, you have full ability to be able to do that. So like I said, free site. And then each one of these lessons has PDF files with pre-written lessons. So they come with free lesson plans in addition to the video clips that all go with them. So if you can find something that you teach that has an Achievery lesson already, then it may already have it like ready to go for you, which is great. So anyway, just wanted to tell you about the Achievery also, because I think that one's great. So easiest way to find that is just to go to ditch.link/Achievery, and hopefully that link will work. Okay, let's keep plowing through this. I want to keep kind of equipping you with more and more resources and tools and ideas to incorporate this video into teaching and learning. And so here's number 4, which is to use AI to support your YouTube videos. So if you're going to use YouTube videos in instruction in some way, or even if it's not YouTube videos, what you can do is you can connect with an AI assistant. I'm going to use Google Gemini as my example here. But if you use one of these AI assistants, they can create a whole bunch of teaching resources for you to support you showing these YouTube videos. And also, you may also find that on some other sort of like teacher AI sites, those are some other places to get good teaching resources with videos too. For instance, I know Magic School and School AI both have really good resources when it comes to YouTube videos. If you load up Brisk Teaching on, you use that Chrome extension on a YouTube video, then that's another great one. So, you know what? I still see, I'll come back to that slide in just a second. I still see some of you all that are having trouble with the link. I'm just going to dump the raw Canva slides link right here into the chat. It's great, big, messy, but hopefully it will work. And then if you just hang on to that link that I gave you earlier, ditch.link/viral learning, hopefully my ditch links will start working again. So anyway, there's that slide link, and thank you all so much for your patience. Okay, so let's go back. So in fact, before I do that, I want to show you what I'm actually, yeah, let's stick with this slide. So I kind of want to show you what I'm talking about. See, with Google Gemini, if you use Google Gemini as your AI assistant, what's nice about Google Gemini is that it has these plugins. I can't remember if it's called like a plugin or an extension or what, but Gemini basically integrates with other Google tools. And if you click on the little gear or the settings inside of Gemini, you can find all of those settings. Deidre is saying that it might be gems. Gems are kind of like pre-written chat bots. They're kind of like instructions you can use over and over again. I'm talking about the plugins and thank you for trying to feed me the right word. But yeah, this is where it interacts with other tools like YouTube. It interacts with like Google Drive and a whole bunch of the other stuff. And so if you go in there and you make sure that that's turned on, then what's cool is you can go to Gemini and you can say, here's the video I'm getting ready to use, and just drop the link. Now, whenever you prompt an AI assistant like Google Gemini, it's always good to provide context first. So for me, I might say I'm like a middle school science teacher who's getting ready to show this video to my 7th grade science students. And so then I'm kind of like setting the context. And then you can ask it for all of this different stuff. Now, the reason I put this list on here is not necessarily because you couldn't do this stuff if I didn't show it to you, but sometimes you just don't know what to ask the AI assistant. And so these are some things that you can ask for. For instance, ask for some pre-watching activities, some questions you can ask, some discussions that you can have about the content of the video before you actually watch the video. You can ask for guided notes, which are your little fill in the blanks that you can do as you go through listening to the video. And then there's pause points. I didn't even consider this, but one time I asked Google Gemini what kind of like teaching resources it could give me for a YouTube video, and it suggested this. And pause points are basically places where you can hit pause on the video, because we know the sort of the best practice for using video in instruction is not to click play and let the whole video go all the way through. It's to stop it every so often and have discussions and ask questions and engage students in the video. And so it can offer you some of those pause points. Just ask it for places to stop and questions that you can ask related to the video, which is pretty cool. I really like the missing questions one too. Like ask it, what are some questions that aren't being considered in this video? What are some questions we need to be asking that aren't? It's like, it's easy for us to ask questions about things that aren't in the video, but sometimes you want to ask for things that aren't in the video. Did I say that right? I'm going to say that again. It's easy to ask questions about things that are in the video. It's harder to identify the things that aren't in the video. And it does a pretty good job of picking those out. It can also suggest graphic organizers that you can have your students do and how they might look, and then even come up with some review activities, review questions, and exit tickets and stuff like that. So Denise says, I'm so old. I used to have to run up to the TV card in my classroom and hit pause to ask students questions in the moment. Hey, a lot of us remember those TV cards, Denise. And don't you know, if you were a student and you saw a teacher push one of those TV cards into the classroom, like things were about to go down. It was about to be good. I even remember one of my teachers still had film strips, film strips with the cassette tapes and everything. Like I had a teacher that would still use some of those too. So, hey, a lot of us can sympathize, right? All right. So anyway, that's an easy way for you to be. Oh, and let me go back to that real quick. I wanted to show you this link. Again, it's another one of those ditch links that may or may not work right now, but it will eventually, I promise. This is so it's at ditch.link/upgrades. I'm going to put this one into the chat. That will take you to a document for a presentation that I do. The presentation is called 10 AI-based upgrades to teaching and learning. It's some of my favorite stuff that you can do with an AI assistant like ChatGPT for instructional purposes. And it's just a document that I provide with that presentation whenever I do that breakout session at like conferences and stuff. And so I wanted to throw that document out to you all in part because it has some of this YouTube video type stuff in it. The other thing that's really nice about that document is that it has some copy and paste prompts. So you can just copy the text, throw it into ChatGPT or Google Gemini or whatever, adjust the prompt a little bit, and then just hit send. So you don't have to think about what it's going to be. So, okay. Anyhow, got two more for you, and then we're going to wrap this up. This next one is using YouTube, TikTok, whatever, as inspiration. I'm just going to put this one out as a big picture idea. And this is actually a big part of another session that I do. This is another breakout session that I do at conferences and school districts and stuff when I present. It's a session called Learn Like a YouTuber. And so here's the link to my slides right up here at the top. I'll put that in here too. That's dig.link/YouTuber. And it asks the question, well, it sort of gives the concept that if there are all of these really good examples of types of YouTube videos that our students have seen, YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Instagram videos, like wherever you get your video content, you know how you see the same kinds of videos over and over and over again? And what you see on the screen here is examples of that. You've seen unboxing videos, product reviews, makeup tutorials, on the street interview. It's like those kinds of videos that you see over and over and over again. There's a good chance that your students have seen those videos too. And so what I want you to consider, and some stuff that you can see in my slides a little bit more if you want to dive a little deeper on this, is what would it look like if you tried to frame your lesson through the lens of some of these videos? Oh my goodness, Dustin Remy's here. He made it just in time. That's awesome. Love seeing you here. Anyway, so case in point, whenever I get to do this presentation, I also got I've got a keynote speech that I do at schools and conferences and stuff where I talk about this idea. I'll do a demonstration of an unboxing video. You all know what I mean by unboxing videos, right? It's like a YouTuber will get something in the mail and they'll turn on their video and start recording themselves opening it. And they'll show you all the things that are in the box. Like they'll get a subscription box or sneakers or a cell phone. Sarah says PR packages. Yeah, exactly. Like any of that stuff. And so I started watching these, and at one point I thought this would be kind of a cool learning activity. Like what if students recorded an unboxing video from a character in a novel? or an unboxing video about themselves to unbox a box packed with things about themselves, or, you know, unboxed like what they would call a time capsule that's supposed to have a whole bunch of things from a certain time period. And then they just kind of like explain them as they're unboxing them. And they feel like YouTubers a little bit when they do it. So this is one of those things that I think would be a super fun way to make learning feel like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram without actually having to use the platform. If you would like some more on all of this, I actually have a link that I'm going to put into the chat that's not on the screen. If you like that idea of the unboxing video, I just put a link in there, ditchthattextbook.com/unboxing. That's my great big comprehensive guide to classroom unboxing videos for learning. It's kind of fun. So anyway, if you want to dive into that a little bit, feel free to, but just consider, like, how could learning feel like some of these types of videos that they see in class? Because the nice thing about all this is it doesn't even have to be that video. You don't even have to use YouTube or TikTok. It just has to remind them of those things. And all of a sudden it starts to feel like that, and it changes the way that they feel about the learning. It's one of my big picture ideas about what learning and the classroom should look like and everything. Okay, now here's the last one, and this is a pretty cool thing. So if you have, if your school has a Google Classroom, and if you have the like premium Google Classroom or the teaching and learning upgrade or something, they have this really neat feature where you can make interactive YouTube assignments right inside of Google Classroom. So I've got some example screenshots there, but I wanted to just demo this for you real quick because it's really pretty cool. There, Kate, on the button, Google Workspace for Education Plus, or the Teaching and Learning Upgrade. Thank you for that. So anyway, they're super easy to make. If you haven't seen this feature before, if you're familiar with tools like Edpuzzle, it's kind of like that actually, but it's just like built natively into Google Classroom. So if you haven't seen this, like, check this out. So you create a new assignment. And then inside that assignment, we're going to add a YouTube video, and let's just do something like crash course. And so we find a crash course video. We were just talking about crash course earlier. And so let's say we're going to use this one. Notice that you can just add the video by itself right here, or you can add questions. And this is the part where you can drop questions in to like interrupt the video and ask students questions. The types of questions that you can ask, like let's say we're going to skip forward to here, okay? And then we're going to add a question right here. It can be a multiple choice question, a checkboxes question where you check all of the right answers, or just an open-ended question. So let's put in a multiple choice question. Notice that it's got the timestamp where it's going to stop the students, and then you add the question. So here's where my question goes. And then you can put in this or that or the other. Don't pick this one. There we go. So we put in our multiple options. Let's say that it's this, and that's the correct answer. I can even shuffle them if I want to. And then I hit save and continue, and it inserts that. It just inserts that into the video. And so you can add a whole bunch of questions all the way through here. And then whenever you're done, we can take a peek of it real quick as the student. So you would hit play and it would start playing. And then when it got to about 15:55, which is like here, and then it stops and it creates the question. If the student feels like they haven't got it, they can hit rewatch, or they can go ahead and answer it and submit it. And oh, look at that, instant feedback. Immediately, I know that I got it right. And then I can continue, finish watching, and then submit. And so I'm going to go ahead and attach that assignment to my Google Classroom activity. It pre-populates a title for me. If I want to use it, I can, and then I can give them more instructions and then add any of the other stuff that's in here. By the way, if you have Google Workspace for Education Plus or the Teaching and Learning Upgrade, you also have the practice sets, which is pretty cool. Some of you are probably familiar with that. That's kind of like the flashcard option that helps students practice with new material, and that's pretty cool. So anyway, Yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you as another thing that's really pretty neat. And by the way, if you're wanting to come up with questions for these, if you're going to use them inside of this, if you're going to use them inside of these interactive YouTube, there's a couple of places where you can come up with questions if you want to. For instance, remember I was just talking earlier about using Google Gemini to come up with YouTube related stuff. Here's what I did. I said, suggest some multiple choice comprehension questions for the crash course video called Tuberculosis Explained. I could have put the link in there, but in this case I didn't. And so now I've got some questions with a whole bunch of possible stuff. And then it gives me the answers too, which is always nice to have an answer key. So anyway, if you're interested in that, if you have that available, then you can check that out. If you don't have it, or if your school doesn't have it and you'd like to kind of take a peek at it and get a feel for it, we've got some information for you at the end of this presentation that'll help you and your school district like check this out and see if it's a good fit for you. Okay, so here's a recap. These are some of the things that we talked about here. And by the way, there's that short link, ditch.link/viral learning. Make sure there's 2 L's in that. We talked about adding a hyphen between the T and the U in YouTube videos to make it distraction free. We talked about where you can find teacher approved instructional videos at teachflix.org. We talked about all the free video based lesson plans at the Achievery, which you can find right here. We talked about video resources and teaching aids that you can create with AI for your YouTube videos. And you can go to ditch.link/upgrades to find that in my document. Talked about using YouTube and TikTok as inspiration for learning activities. Then we talked about those interactive YouTube questions inside of Google Classroom. And so again, there's the link right there to the slides. And I think that wraps us up. It looks like there were some questions in here in the chat, but I think Kate's handled a bunch of them. Kate's got like speedy fingers like that, you know? So, so anyway, that brings me to the end there. Feel free to hang on to that link to the slides so that you've got everything. And then I did drop that unboxing video link in there too. So, all right. But I think that wraps us up. So what do y'all think? How'd that go?
Here we go. There goes the chat. This is so good. And there's some logistics that we'll do because I know we obviously we got great content, Matt. Thank you. And we're gonna get great coffee too. So there's some logistical things that we want to do to make sure we get the coffee piece. If you just want to hit that last slide, I'm gonna come back to there may be other things in the chat too that we want to circle back to, but I started this with an instinct about creating a very passive learning experience and pushing that forward into being something that is active. And that was the theme. I don't know if you did that intentionally or whatever, but it's just felt like that was the theme of like everything that you had to say, like from taking this neat instructional video and then like let's wrap a lesson around it, or let's take this video that's on YouTube and could just play right through, but like let's ask Gemini to give us some inspiration about like where would I want to pause and talk here, or better yet, let's go make it interactive and force the student to re-engage in that learning experience by answering the question, and then of course the teachers are getting feedback on all that. So there's a couple of things that Matt shared that you may or may not have access to within your school district, and we're here to help with that. If you're looking at your Google Classroom or your version of YouTube and you're logged into your school issued credential, not your Gmail, but your school issued account, and you're not seeing the interactive videos, or you're not seeing practice sets or some of those other things, don't freak out. We can solve for that a couple different ways. The first way is for you to scan this QR code, because that will take you to a little form that you can fill out. Maybe not you, if you're a classroom teacher, this may not be for you, and maybe you would want to share this with someone who makes decisions about technology purchases or upgrades within your district. But scanning that QR code will allow us to set up a 60-day free trial that you would see all of the things that Matt talked about. So that's one way to start this. And then, we're going to be having, future conversations. Thank you so much, Kate. I just saw that you posted the exit survey. This is how you get access to your coffee. We want to stay in touch. We're going to obviously, we'll be bringing Matt back, to do more things too. Matt hinted at some of the conversations we've had about technology wellness, and we owe ourselves another visit to that conversation soon. So, Kate, help me out. What am I missing here?
Well, gosh, between the two of you, I don't think you missed much, but
Okay,
like
good.
Josh said, that exit survey is up. So be sure to take that on your way out. And thank you so much, Matt, for being here. This was just as much fun as I anticipated, if not
Yeah.
more. Thank you everyone for joining. It's so amazing to see all these new faces. It's great to meet you, and we are honored for you to have spent this 47 minutes with us. It's truly been wonderful. So thank you all very much. Take that exit survey. I will be sending the recording of this session to the email that you're registered with, so you can keep an eye out for that. Some of the links that we put in the chat will also be in that email. So you'll have, quick access to pretty much everything we talk to afterwards. So you can review it, share it with your peers, and yeah, just really get rolling with some of the things you learned today. But all right, we're over time. So thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.